Hello, Gavin here, and welcome to Pedal Grooves, where today we're going to take 3 pedals, pair them up with the drum machine and the looper, and see what we can come up with. So today we've got 3 pedals, the Boss OD3 Overdrive, the PH3 Phase Shifter, and the Malekko Ekko 616 Ambient Delay. And we're going to have a wee look at all these pedals, see what they can do, look at them isolated. But if you don't want to watch that and want to jump straight to the jam, that's totally cool. The time code for that will be in the description. But before we get to the pedals, let's have a wee look at the setup and see what we're using for today. We're going to be using the Harley Benton Fretless Jazz Bass with some Rotosound flatwounds, the Korg Pitchblack tuner and Danelectro battery Billionaire, which I've been using in all these videos actually, and the TC Electronics Ditto X4 looper, which is being clocked by the Roland TR8, and the sounds you're hearing are actually drum samples in Ableton being played by the TR8. And that's everything for the setup. So first up we have the Boss OD3, which actually, like the Malekko on the board, I picked up second hand. And this is a great way to get into effects pedals, particularly if you're not sure of certain effects, because they can be quite expensive. And certain pedals are really expensive. So it's a great way to try out some gear without outlaying too much money. And like I say, I got these pedals really affordably and they've been great. I will say the switch is a bit funny on the Malekko pedal, but that I think's been since I've got it, so can't really blame that on the previous owner. But as I say, they're great pedals, but starting with the Boss, this one is being used for a medium gain type sound, mostly to push the phaser and make it more exaggerated and a bit more over the top sounding. And on its own it sounds a bit like this. Really nice sound, big fan of that pedal. It's quite versatile actually, and it sounds great on bass even though it is a guitar pedal. But moving on, we use the Boss PH3 Phase Shifter, and actually you'll have probably noticed that I've got a tap tempo switch hooked up to this one. Now, it's not as common to do that with a phaser, and actually it's plugged into the expression pedal input. It is meant for a wah style expression pedal, but it does still give you that rhythmic pulse using the tap tempo that just locks it into the drum track a little bit better. So I'll let you hear it, and I'll actually mess with the tempo while I'm playing and you'll see what I mean. So the pedal on its own sounds like this. And I'll change the tempo a little bit. See how the rate's gone a bit more choppy? So you see, tapping that switch, it does influence the rate and it does make it more rhythmic. So it's definitely worth trying out. I'm a big fan of doing this now, to be honest with you. And last but not least, we have the Malekko Ekko 616. And sadly, I don't think they're making the normal version of this anymore. Or at least that's what seemed to be the case the last time I checked. Which is a shame because it's a really nice delay pedal. It can do quite a lot of stuff actually. In my setup, it's acting as quite a simple delay. This is the pedal on its own. But it's actually capable of a lot more than that. It does have a modulation section which you can bring in and out on the switch at the top, which does drastically change the sound actually. In fact, I'll bring it in just for a little bit so you can hear what that sounds like. And it also has a true bypass or buffered selector switch, which I think is great, because for me, I tend to have this quite near the end of my pedal chain, so it's quite good to have a buffer near the end of your signal chain if you've got a lot of pedals. So it's great for that, and it can be true bypass if you want it to be. So definitely a great pedal, definitely worth checking out if you're looking for a new delay pedal. It's really cool. But the interesting thing with this jam is actually that all of the pedals were on all of the time. So there wasn't a point where I was switching. It's actually all 3 pedals on at the same time, the whole thing. The only thing that changes is what pickups I'm using on my bass. So when I'm recording the bass line, I've got both pickups on and the tone control full up. And when I'm recording the melody parts or the tapped parts, I turn the neck pickup off, just use the bridge pickup. And it just gives you that little bit of character, that little bit of brightness from the bridge pickup. Cuts a little bit better, to be honest with you, and makes it stand out above the bass line. But that's really the only differences you're hearing between the parts in the song. It's all down to the bass pickups and the controls. The pedals are on the whole way through. But that's enough of my rambling on about the pedals. Let's get to the pedal groove. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit like and subscribe and click that bell icon so you can be notified when more content like this comes out. And if you've got any questions about anything you've seen or heard in this video, or if you've got any suggestions for future pedal grooves, please let me know in the comments section. I'd love to hear what you're thinking, and I'll definitely be getting back to everybody that comments. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, keep working on those bass faces.